guys, it's Kaylee from K-Books, and this is my October wrap-up post video. In October I read, I think, about 11 books. I usually read a couple more than that, but I was at uni and it was really busy, so I'm really happy that I actually managed to read that many. I said in my last post that October was going to be my zombie month, catch up on the zombie books, but that was a fail. I didn't read any zombie books because I was just really busy with review books and beta books and stuff like that, so I didn't actually get any of those read. But I'm just going to show you the books that I did get read in October. I'm hoping that I will do zombie month a different month and get all of those caught up soon, but it's probably not going to be the next couple of months because I'm at uni. I don't have a lot of time to read anymore, so that's why. The first book I read this month is Crash by Nicole Williams, and this was a book I got for review for the blog tour, and I really enjoyed this one. It's a new, I don't know whether it's young adult or new adult, and it's a contemporary romance, and I really loved it. It's the typical, she's a good girl, she's a ballerina, and he's the bad boy, and what happens when they sort of interact, and I really loved it. I gave it 4 stars. I did really enjoy this one. I know that there is a second book out, but I am not sure whether I actually want to read it because I absolutely loved the ending of this book. I'm not really sure that the second book is needed for their story, so I am not sure whether I'm going to read book 2 or not yet. I might sometime, but at the minute I'm not planning on it because I thought the ending of this book was perfect. The next book was another ebook that I got for review, and it's Wild Encounter by Nikki Logan. I got this for review from Entangled Publishing, and it's an adult contemporary book. It's about this girl, I can't even remember her name because I read this at the beginning of the month, and she is kind of like a vet in Africa for wild dogs, I think it is, and she is being transported with the wild dogs, transporting them to somewhere safe, and she gets kidnapped by people who want to kill the dogs, or at least that's what she thought. So it's a really good book. I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. It's not something I would usually read, but I really ended up enjoying it. It was really good. So if you're a fan of romance with a bit of action in there as well, Wild Encounter is definitely worth reading. The next book that I read I also got for review, and it's Elixir by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is book 3.5 of the Covenant series, and it comes straight after Deity, which is book 3. Book 3 is out in November, and so is Elixir at the end of the month, I believe. It was amazing. 5 stars. This is from Aiden's point of view, and anyone who knows me knows how much I adore Jennifer L. Armentrout and how much Aiden is like my favourite character. He's my favourite fictional boy ever. So getting this novella from his point of view is just amazing. I'm not even going to say what it's about, what happens, because if you haven't read Deity, which I know a lot of people haven't because it's not actually out yet, or the ebook has been made available now, I think, you can't really say anything about Elixir without spoiling the ending of Deity, and I really don't want to do that, so this was amazing. 5 stars for sure, and I think I've already read it 3 times. It's amazing. The next book I read was Night Thief by Lisa Kessler, and this is book 1.5 in the Night series, which the first one is Night Walker. I really enjoyed this. It was so good, and I ended up giving it 5 stars. I'm a big fan of Lisa, and I absolutely love Night Walker, and Night Thief was no different. It's a new twist on vampire series. They're not called vampires, they're called Night Walkers, and they protect humans, so it's so good. I love this series. I loved this book. This is the story of Cain and Marguerite, or Rita, and I really loved it. I read it in one sitting. It was just fantastic. So if you haven't read this series, it's definitely worth reading. The next book I read was Tempting the Player by Jaylin, which is Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is her adult series, and it's the second book in the Gamble Brothers series, and this is Chad's story, and I really didn't think I was going to love this more than I loved Tempting the Best Man, but I loved this more. I thought it was just amazing. I got this for review from Entangled Publishing, so thank you Stacey and Entangled for letting me review this. It was so good. I loved every second of it. I've read it twice. It's just addictive. Jennifer's writing is addictive, and everything she writes I just read over and over and over again because they're just so amazing. So that was, it was just great, and I gave that 5 stars, but I would have given it so many more stars if I could. The next book that I read it was a beta read, and it was The Sun Dwellers by David Estes, which is book 3 in the Dweller series. I gave this book 4 stars. I really enjoy this series. I've beta read all of them, all 3. This has to be my least favourite, really. I loved the Star Dwellers book 2 better, a lot better. I thought that this one was a little bit slower, and it took me about 2 weeks to read, which is really, really slow for me. So I still enjoyed it. I still gave it 4 stars, and I'm really looking forward to reading the finished copy to see what changes David makes. But it was really good. This is a dystopia series, and they live underground, and everything's underground, and they're going, there's a rebellion, because some of them don't really agree with the way things are, because you have the Sun Dwellers who, they get all the artificial light, they have all the power and all the money, and then you've got the Moon Dwellers, which are used for things so that the Sun Dwellers can get it, and then the Star Dwellers who are right at the bottom, and it's about trying to make them equal, kind of thing. And I really enjoyed, I really loved the series, and the Sun Dwellers was really good. I gave it 4 stars. The next book I read, it was also a book I got for review for a blog tour, and it's Losing It by Cora Carmack. I loved this book. This is a new adult contemporary romance, and it was brilliant. I absolutely loved it. I read it in one sitting. It's just so unputdownable. It's about this girl who, Bliss, who is a virgin, and she doesn't want to be anymore, so her best friend convinces her to go to a bar to try and pick some guy up for a one-night stand, and she meets Garrick. She doesn't go through with the one-night stand, but then when she goes to her university or college the next day and finds out that Garrick is actually her new professor. So it's about their relationship and how it's kind of forbidden, but they both like each other. I really loved it. I'm really hoping that Cora writes more about the secondary characters, because I just loved all of the characters, and I'd really like to see them get their own story. It was just a really, really great book. So if you really like contemporary, I would definitely suggest reading Losing It. I gave it 5 stars. It was really good. The last ebook that I read, you'll have to just at the bottom here, Eden South by Janelle Stalder. This is the 3rd book in the Eden series, and I beta read this for Janelle, and it was amazing. I absolutely love this series. It's a young adult fantasy series, and it's just amazing. I really suggest this series to any fans of fantasy. It's so good. It's about this boy Aiden, and he's from our world, and he gets transported to the world of Eden in the 1st book, and he is a warrior to help them because there's a big war brewing, and they need a warrior who could help them defeat the evil sorcerer as is. So this is the third one in the book, the series. I won't really go into it because I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's my favourite so far. It was amazing. Everything that I'd wanted to happen from book one happened in this book. So much happened, and I'm really looking forward to the next book, which I believe will be the last one in the series, but this is one of my favourite series ever, and I absolutely loved it. So I gave that one 5 stars as well. 2 books that I read this month I don't actually have on me, so I can't show you, so I'm just going to add a picture. The first one was Destroy Me by Tahereh Mafi. And this is book 1.5 in the Shatter Me series. This is the novella from Warner's point of view. I absolutely loved Shatter Me. I think it was absolutely brilliant. I didn't really like Destroy Me that much. I don't really like Warner at all. I don't like his character. I pretty much hate him. So getting the novella from his point of view, I didn't really like it. It's a good read, even if you don't like Warner like I don't. I still enjoyed it. I still enjoyed seeing his side of things, and by reading it you really get a new perception of him, and I really understood him a lot more, but I still really didn't like him. I know a lot of people just fell in love with him in the novella, but I just didn't at all. I gave that 3 stars because I don't know whether it was because I didn't really like Warner all that much, that I found it was very, very slow. I just was just waiting for it to be over, but it was really good to see his side of things. And the next book I read was Unravel Me by Tahereh Mafi, which is book 2 in the Shatter Me series. I gave this one 5 stars. It was absolutely amazing. I still don't like Warner. I know everyone was telling me I'd love him, but I really wanted to. I got to the end of the book and was like, oh, well, it didn't happen. There's a lot of things that happen in that book that had me stressing out. I didn't like what was happening, but at the same time I couldn't stop reading because I just had to find out what was going to happen. It's amazing. I don't think I like it better than Shatter Me. I think Shatter Me is still my favourite of the series so far, but it was absolutely amazing. I couldn't put it down, and I can't wait for book 3. I know it's going to be amazing. It's fast becoming one of my favourite dystopia series ever. I just absolutely loved Unravel Me, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens next. Tahereh is one of my favourite authors now. Her writing style is just amazing. I really love that series, and I cannot wait to read more from her. And then there's just one more book left to show you, which is the only paperback to show you, and that's Masters of the Veil by Daniel A. Cohen. This is the first book in the Veil trilogy, and it is a fantasy book about sorcerers. I was quite surprised by that because I remember when I first heard about this book, I'd read the blurb, thought it sounded amazing, and couldn't wait to read it, but by the time I got around to actually reading it, I'd forgotten what the blurb said, but decided that I wasn't going to read the blurb. I was going to go into the book completely blind and find out as I went what it was about. And looking at the cover, I really thought it was going to be a space kind of book, sci-fi kind of book, because of all the blackened stars. It's a fantasy book about sorcerers, and the cover really quite confused me, but when you've read the book you understand the cover. So the cover is really cleverly done because it is important to the story. You just have to read the book to find out why. This book is about a guy called Sam, and he is a football player at high school, and he suddenly stops. He stops time. He freezes everybody during his game, like the players, the coaches, all the people watching, everyone just freezes, and he finds out that he is actually a sorcerer. So he is transported, or he's taken, to this place called Atlas Crown, where he can learn to do magic. and all he wants really is to learn how to control it so he can go back to his normal life and become a footballer. But as he goes through and finds out more about this world, he starts becoming more drawn to it, and he is meant for this special thing called power magic, where there's not many people who can control power magic because they go bad. So there's a group of bad sorcerers after him, and to try and get him to break the veil. It's amazing. I absolutely love this book, and I'm really looking forward to the second book, which I believe is called Children of the Veil, and I believe it comes out March next year or sometime around there. I absolutely loved it. It was brilliant. I gave that one 5 stars as well. If I had to give a book of the month, I think it would be Elixir by Jennifer L. Armentrout, because it's absolutely amazing, and Covenant is my favourite series ever, and I just loved it. So that's all I read this month. Last month, sorry. This month, I have already finished one book, which I will show you. It was on my Kindle. It was Reawakened by Ada Adams. This is the second Angel Creek book, and it was amazing. I just gave it 5 stars because it was brilliant. This was another beta read, but I don't really have any feedback because it was just perfect to me. It was amazing. It's a vampire book, and you really need to read this series. It's just brilliant. So this month I don't have any particular titles that I will definitely be reading, but I am currently reading Black City by Elizabeth Richards. This is the first in a dystopia series that Lisa has lent me her arc, so thank you so much. I'm dying to get more into this. I have only read the first chapter or 2, but it was brilliant. It hooked me in right from the start, so I'm really looking forward to reading more. I think I'm really going to love this because I really love dystopia books, and I've been dying to read this one for a while. Some other books that I will most probably be reading is Elemental by Emily White. I've just got this and I'm dying to read it. It doesn't look very thick, so I think it'd be a one sitting read. And I will definitely be reading Gravity by Melissa West. Most probably some more arcs that I've got All the Broken Pieces by Cindy Madsen, Conjure by Leah Nolan, and Greta and the Goblin King by Chloe Jacobs. So I will most probably be definitely reading those. I'm hoping that I get through all of those arcs because I really need to catch up on some of them. So that's what I'm planning on reading next month. Usually I have quite a big list. I want to read this, but I never actually get around to reading them. So I'm just going to read what I end up reading and then show you in the next monthly wrap-up post. So that's all from me today. So thanks for watching. Bye!